Hi, this is Elizabeth Ryan coming to you from the EHS Management Forum in Tucson. I'm standing here with Andrew Winston, eco-strategist and author of Green to Gold and Green Recovery. Andrew, you just spoke to our members a little bit about what it takes to recover from the recession on top. And some of the elements that you mentioned were that compliance today requires more than just complying with government regulations. It's really more about meeting stakeholder expectations. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, basically what I was saying was, of course, compliance matters and what your legal requirements are, but that the demands coming from your biggest stakeholders, your customers, your business customers, your consumers, your employees, are very often higher demands. They have higher standards, they're asking for more information, and they might literally have higher standards, like companies asking for certain levels of lead in products that might be more strict than the federal government standards. So that's the standard you have to meet. And so you have to obviously meet the compliance standards, but at the same time understand what your customers and employees expect of you and meet those higher goals as well.
You said that this is really a paradigm that's not going to go away. In fact, there are very serious environmental issues that are underscoring the stakeholder interest in what companies are doing. Can you talk to me a little bit about what some of those issues are?
Well, I mean, obviously, there's some base environmental challenges that we're facing that I think we're facing as a species, and this generation really needs to deal with pretty quickly. Climate change is obviously an enormous one. Water issues, toxics and chemicals in the environment, use of land and biodiversity and species and where we get our energy from. All these are, really big issues. But in a way, the science on some of these doesn't really matter. The logic for a company using less energy, reducing carbon, is overwhelming whether or not you believe the science of climate change. It saves money, it reduces our reliance on volatilely priced fuels that are declining fundamentally and getting more expensive, or we don't send money to overseas to parts of the world that aren't really supporters of ours. I mean, there's lots of national security reasons, business reasons. So the logic has lots of different dimensions, and the pressures on companies are just not going away. I mean, these fundamental resource constraints, environmental challenges and questions from your customers and employees, they're not going away. They're only getting bigger and stronger, and companies have to be prepared for a different kind of future.
One of the things that you said that might take for a company to actually change its culture is to sort of be receptive to heretical ideas. What does that mean, heretical?
Yeah, I mean, heretical innovation is this topic I've been focused on for a couple years, this idea of asking really tough questions, the ones that challenge what you're about, what the company does. And I use a couple examples from companies that are looking at their whole business model differently, like Waste Management, which made its money for many years hauling waste, but now all its customers are trying to reach zero waste goals. Almost everyone at this conference has zero waste goals in their factories, which means that Waste Management would have no business in the future. So they are moving to a service kind of business where they're helping companies reduce waste, they're sorting waste, they're burning what's left. They're moving into being more of an energy company, a material strategy company, and that's going to take a long time. But that's a pretty deeply heretical notion to say this company that just makes money hauling waste is now not going to try to haul as much waste. That's a very deep challenge to what the business is about. And I think companies are going to find they have to ask those kinds of questions about what are they really about and should they keep doing it the way they've been doing it. And that's going to take a culture change in most companies.
Great. Well, thanks very much for sharing your ideas. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.